Bonjour, comment ça va? Et toi? Ça va très bien. Ni hao, hola, bienvenue, onion, bienvenidos, bienvenita, namaste, welcome. Welcome to another exciting episode of Gem Hunter Stories. My name is Barry B. Mixon, and I am a gemmological storyteller. Each week, I get the unique opportunity to take you on an adventure to places you've never been before, to hear stories you've never heard before. Each week, I take the art, science, history, and magic, gemstones, precious metals, fine jewelry, and put it all together into a story. What I've learned is many of the same characteristics, the same traits, the same attributes that we so highly value in gemstones, fine jewelry, we actually see those same things in people. So what I do is I take those stories and use them as a template, as an inception point, as a bridge to help people, to inspire people, to remind people to discover the value of their own stories, who they are, and the people, what's the value of the people around them? How do they resonate with the life? Happy Valentine's Day, guys. Happy Valentine's Day. I am so, when I thought about today is February 14th, I was like, oh my God, I finally get a chance to do the show that I've always been wanting to do. Just didn't know how to say it. So let me get this together here. So what today's show is about is, remember when Valentine's Day was something special? I mean, it's still nice now, but it's not like it used to be. Valentine's Day, I don't know, maybe because I was a nerd and it was hard for me in the beginning to just even talk to a girl. I was shy, I was insecure. So Valentine's Day was like the one free day you had to talk to the woman that you really, the young girl, the young lady that you just that you've been really wanting to talk to. It was like a it was like a get extra credit card, something. It was a magical day. It was a magical day. And I know I'm being completely old fashioned right now, and I don't care because I just remember how how much I wanted to talk to that little girl when I was in, maybe, I don't know, it must have been about sixth grade, seventh grade. We went to the Dude Ranch, and I don't, I think her name was Stephanie. And to me, Stephanie was just, oh, I mean, my goodness. The sun just seemed to shine wherever she was. And we went to this Dude Ranch, and the whole time I was just try to be near Stephanie as much as I possibly could. And we were talking and everything else. It was just wonderful. The hair, the wind was blowing in her hair from the bus window. Excuse me. And my whole plan, excuse me, my whole plan was to ask her to go with me. And it was on Valentine's Day. So, and I saved up the time, saved up the time, saved up the time. And then the moment came. We got off the bus, and this was the last chance I had. And I said, Stephanie, can I ask you a question? She said, yeah, Barry, what? And I just looked, I worked up the courage and I said, will you go with me? And she looked at me, and I had figured out, I was a smart kid. I had figured out all the different options that she thought, of course, no was number one, but I thought all the different ways she would tell me no. And she just looked at me with those big, beautiful brown eyes and said, go with you where, Barry? I had never thought that that would be an answer. And I remember just everything, the courage just drained out of me. I just said, no way, never mind. She said, okay, see you later. See you Monday on Monday. That's what Valentine's Day. And it happened on a Valentine's. So what I wanted to do with this show is just kind of take us back to what Valentine's Day is, because when you really understand how much gemstones are like people, especially women, then you begin to understand what makes it, why this day is so special. And I want people to maybe remember what it used to be. Remember not only what it used to be, but also who, what came out of that Valentine's Day. Who did you meet? Who did you marry? Who are you going to go to dinner or lunch or wherever with on this day called Valentine's? Valentine's Day used to be simple. There was, I remember Lady in the Tramp. I mean, remember that scene where he just rolled the meatball to her? That was love. That was love. They just had what, some breadsticks and a candle and spaghetti and meatballs. And yes, I know they dogs and I know it's animated, but you guys remember those feelings? You remember that feeling when your heart, when you know your heart was beating fast, when you could barely catch your breath. Remember when that girl would give you that kiss on the cheek and you just didn't want to wash your face for the rest of the day? I remember coming home, and this was when girls started wearing like a little lip gloss. So this, I don't know, I don't remember who it was. It's just I remember she kissed me on the cheek, and I just wore it the whole rest of the day in class. And I came home, mama was like, "What is that on your face?" Like, just nothing. And she was like, "Why is it on your face? You got girls kissing on you now?" And you know, my mother be my mother, but I remember just taking my time. That's what romance used to be. That's what it was. And the question is, why? Why did it change? Remember how you felt that way about your wife, your girlfriend, your fiance, your baby's mama? And the reverse is the other way. I just talk about women because it's just that's what I'm into. But it works the other way. Remember that guy that you saw that you thought like Roberta Flack said, the sun and the moon rose in his eyes? That guy. Why did it change? And when you ask that question, ask yourself the same things that you saw in that person is the same thing you saw in jewelry. When you see this piece, and this piece, look at this piece. This piece is spectacular. Oh my God. Oh my God. Imagine once upon a time you felt like that with the person that you love. You felt like that. That person moved you in that way. Why did it change? If you had this piece of jewelry could, first of all, you would never let it out your sight. That's one. But let's say by some chance that you lost it, you would never get over that. Ever. Especially if it had meaning to you. Especially, I mean, just so does why do our feelings change for the person that we love? Because once upon a time, that was her. Once upon a time, that was him. Yeah. Remember that woman you met at the coffee shop that day? Remember how you loved just the way she stirred her coffee? Like you never saw somebody stir her coffee, but just the way she did it was just wow. That's how you see when you see this jewelry. This jewelry could be somewhere in your house, and you can, maybe you didn't wear it for 30 years. When you saw that jewelry again, it was still spectacular. This it may not even be the same style anymore, but that would be timeless. Why can't your relationships be like? So what I wanted to do today was I entitled this "The Gem Hunter's Guide to Romance" because romance is really not that hard. I celebrate Valentine's Day, but to me, Valentine's Day, to be honest with you, Valentine's Day is a sucker day. It really is because it's the things that you're doing on Valentine's Day, you could be doing that the whole year. And one, it would cost you less money. That's one because those roses that you bought that was $40, $30, they were $9.99 at Jewel's, the supermarket in my neighborhood, last week. The things that that woman did for you, the other 364 days out of the year, oh, you just gonna pick one day to just, yeah, okay, okay. But yet, if you had a piece of jewelry or anything that you really valued, you wouldn't wait. You wouldn't just wash your car one day out of the year or wear that watch or that piece of jewelry just one day out of you loved it. So if we started treating each other in the same way, if we saw each other the same way we see jewelry, and the way you saw that person when you first met that, the Valentine's Day would be a wonderful thing again. Valentine's Day would be a celebration because not only a celebration of what you have now, but a celebration of what you had. You will begin to remember the value of it, what it meant to you. So we're going to take it both ways. We're going to take it from people to gemstones, and then we're going to take it from gemstones to people. Because it's all about a story. How many times have I said that? You guys kind of get the flow here. It's always about a story. Why, boys and girls? Because a story is the only way you get to value. It's the only way you get the value. A story. And as I always say, you know what I'm going to say? Nothing has value without a story. I'm still waiting for that email for somebody to say, what about this? They can't. You can't. Nothing has value without a story. So let's go. Listen, and now, and I could take this so many different ways, but I'm going to be easy on you today. Let's just do the easy stuff. It's Valentine's. Let's talk about color. Color. When you see a person that you're attracted to, you just love their color. You love the color of their hair. You love the color of their eyes. You love their complexion, the way that the sun bounces off their cheekbones. You love the color of their nails and their hands. You love the color of just their essence. And you may not even know what she is, nationality she is. You don't know where she's from. You don't know you don't know her name. You just know that you love her color. She's beautiful. And again, he, whatever does it for you. I'm just thinking about those days when you just saw, or trying to remind you of those days when you just saw that woman and you just sat there and just said, wow. Remember those days? I mean, just everything she did just seemed different. And you just loved looking at her color. And you didn't even know. You were trying to figure out where she's from. How come I never seen her before? Is she in this community? What nationality is she? What? All you knew is that you loved her color. Then it was later on that you found out that what she was. You found out that she was a sapphire, and you were surprised. You were surprised. It heightened her value even more because you only thought sapphires were blue. You had no idea that sapphires could be pink. When you saw a sapphire, when you thought, in fact, you might have even told somebody that you didn't like sapphire once upon a time. You said, I don't like sapphire because you thought sapphire was blue. So that person's value went up the more you found out who she is. Yeah. Yeah. Changed your whole world. That's a Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is the day that you let that person know, wow, in just the simplest ways. You don't have to roll a meatball, but just the simplest way. Remember when you used to write cards? Remember cards? You would sit there and the advanced people, gentlemen, would write. I would write love letters all the time, all the time. because that was what you were supposed to do. Even if your love letter just said, "Will you go with me? Yes or no?" Yeah, that was what Valentine's Day was. Remember when you said to yourself you wanted a ruby, you wanted a ruby, and you saw this person that you thought was a ruby. You said, "Oh my God, she's a ruby." She's a ruby. And again, let me help you. Whatever, when I say ruby, that means any characteristic that just does something for you. You love the way she did. She could talk about numbers. You love the way she can fix a car better than you. Okay, or the way she could throw, and vice versa. You love the way how strong his hands were, the fullness of his shoulders. You love the way he spoke and his voice just made you. So you thought you wanted a ruby. You thought you saw a ruby. There's my ruby. And you went out with this ruby. You went out with this person because you felt like, wow. And you felt like he made you feel like a queen because there was the ruby right there for the whole world to see. And then you found out it wasn't a ruby. It's a spinel. And then after and because you love that person, because you had time, because you remembered the way she made you feel, because you remembered the way it looked when you first saw her, and you remember how just majestic you felt being with that person for whatever reason. When you found out that he or she was a spinel, you're like, okay, okay, that's love, that's romance. When you remember, when you realize, when you accept who that person is. That person may not be a ruby. This is a ruby. The person you love may not be that. But for you, they're beautiful. They're a ruby. And you're happy. You're happy with your spinel. Isn't your wife that ruby looking spinel? Yeah, yeah, that's my girl. That's my girl. Yeah. Because she gave you everything that you thought you needed. You thought you needed a ruby. That's because you just didn't understand what a spinel was. Valentine's Day is the day that you remind yourself. Valentine's Day is the day that you see a ruby. Valentine's Day is remember letting your woman know that even though you see rubies all the time, you're happy with a spinel. Not satisfied, not okay. You're happy with the spinel. So when you see those rubies, you can see them. Doesn't mean anything to you because you understand what you have at home. And if you have a ruby in your life, if you are fortunate enough to have a ruby in your life, the woman that you wanted in your life, you have to understand what makes her special because, see, this is what she's made out of. This is this. This is aluminum oxide. That's what a ruby is. Aluminum oxide. They even got it in there. You can get it in bottles. Look at it. You get it. Aluminum oxide. This is all the people in the world. If you're into women, all the women that you meet in the world, there's what? There's 8 billion people. So let's make it even. 4 billion women. 4 billion women in the world. Those are all the ingredients out there. And you begin to understand how special that is because aluminum oxide, even though it's pretty ubiquitous, it's still rare. It's still putting things together. So it's not to devalue what that person, what that woman is because she's aluminum oxide, but you understand that the thing that makes her special, yeah, this is aluminum oxide. in the brown version. This is what the structure of aluminum oxide is. So you have a substance, you have a woman, there's 4 billion women. There's how many trillion aluminum oxide molecules together? Trillions. Aluminum oxide come together, but they still, and the thing that makes them different, the thing that makes it special is that one ingredient, chromium. That thing that makes your woman special is that thing that she does for you, with you. That's what Valentine's Day is saying. A day that you say to the woman that you love, the person that you love, baby, just thank you. Just write it on a card. Thank you. Thank you. God knows. Put 2 or 3 sentences together. Dearest sweetie, dearest honey, dearest whatever her name is. Thank you. Thank you for being something special to me. That's what Valentine's Day. If you have money like that or whatever, hey, Ruth Chris or whatever restaurant or whatever, that's fine. But what Valentine's Day used to be, and still is for some people, is understanding the what you have that's special. Understanding it. Understanding how unique it is to put aluminum oxide, aluminum with oxide together, and that coming together. And then in that, you just have a hint of chromium. You get a ruby. See, because when you understand that, then the value of what you have in your life stays the same. It increases. You never, if you had this piece, you would never throw it away. Ever. Ever. You're not going to just sit there and go, oh, I'm tired of this. I don't wear this anymore. And just throw it away. No, because it has value to you. And this is coming from a man that's been divorced a couple of times. It's not that the 2 women that I've had the pleasure and honor of being with and stuff, it just didn't work out. But because of Gemmology, I understand I didn't really understand what I had, and vice versa. And if I had understood that, perhaps that I would have understood that that person wasn't the person for me. So when I say the guide to romance, it's not about having some mystical, magical way of looking at romance. It's looking at romance the same way we look at gemstones. If I found out in my relationship that that woman was a spinel and I wanted a ruby because the characteristics of a spinel is different than the characteristics of a ruby, then maybe the relationship won't work out. Or maybe I wouldn't have gotten that far into the relationship before I found out. Yeah. You have to understand what you're looking at. You have to understand the person that's in your life. No different. You have to understand the gemstone. Things that we do to each other in relationships would never happen in Gemmology. Never. If someone brought me this piece, and it's an absolutely gorgeous piece, absolutely gorgeous piece. If someone gave me this piece to look at, the first thing I'd have to ask myself is that a ruby? Is that really a ruby? Is that gold or those diamonds? And if so, what? Is that a ruby? Or is it spinel? What is it? Is it a red beryl? What is it? Because there's a lot of red gemstones in the world. So if all you're looking for is red, okay. You take this person out to dinner and wine and diner and all this other stuff because you said, oh God, she's red. That's cool. Cool. There's red. There you go. This is that young lady you met at the office party or the so let's say disco. That's how old I am. The club. red. And you thought, wow, it's red. But you didn't understand. You didn't know that red emeralds come in a red variety. I told you a couple of weeks ago. They're called red barrels. Now, not to take away what a red barrel is, a red barrel is extremely rare. One of the most rarest gemstones in the world. It's only found in one place, Utah. There's a red variety of a beryl. Beryl is the family that emerald is in. So that's the first thing. You just that person that you thought was you just wanted red, so you found out with something different. But maybe if you thought that it wasn't a ruby, you wouldn't appreciate how rare a red beryl is because you never heard of it before. You never got a chance to hear who that person is. That person was more than just what you saw. That's romance. That's what Valentine's Day is to me. An opportunity to get to know the gemstone that you have. Because it works, that's how you have to do it in gemology. You have to understand what you're looking at. You have to understand how does the person that you have in your life resonate with the light. Just because she's red doesn't mean that it's a ruby or spinel. It could be a red beryl. There you go. And if you understand what an emerald is or red beryl is, you have to understand that red beryls or emeralds have a problem. They're included. They have, you see those things on the side? Those are inclusions. A red beryl, anything in the beryl family is highly included, meaning it has things going on. And we talked about, well, we're going to talk more about inclusions, but there's things, just the fact that it's a red beryl means there's things going on. So if you find someone in your life that you just say, okay, all I'm looking for is something red, and you look at it and you find someone red, and then you say, okay, she's a beryl, and you're like, okay, well, as long as she's red, that's fine. No, it's not fine. Because if it's red and it's a red beryl, it's a beryl, that means it's brittle. It's a softer gemstone. Doesn't make it bad, it's just a softer gemstone. It's 7.5 to 8. On the hardness scale, 10 being the highest, 10 is diamonds. So maybe you want red, but perhaps you want something that's a little bit harder. You have to understand that a red beryl is brittle. So therefore, that's why emerald cuts, that's why you have the emerald cut, because an emerald cut is a setting that is created is a safety mechanism for the gemstone. It protects the gemstone because it's brittle. If you hit it, an emerald will crack. It will chip because it's brittle. And sometimes the inclusions make it work. That's one. Then another thing you have to talk about is treatments. You might look at it and it's clear and it's red. What kind of, all emeralds are treated. That means what you see is not necessarily what you get. The only way, Valentine's Day is a way to understand that, is to have that conversation. It's that opening. That's what Valentine's Day used to me. That's a red beryl. So if you just look at red and you're forgetting all that's going on up here, well, then that's the problem. That's a problem. That's a problem, because that's what happens to us in relationships. We get into someone and then we don't know who that person is. And even worse, we really get into that person physically, financially, and we don't really understand what that person is. We just thought we wanted red. And when we come back from our break, we'll continue this conversation, because it's really important for you to see how gemstones and people come together. And I believe if we start looking at people the same way we look at gemstones, they can save us a whole lot of hardship. But we'll talk more about that when we get to the other side.
The largest aquamarine in the world is called the Dom Pedro, named after the two emperors of Brazil. It is a 60-pound, 2-foot long, 10,363 carat obelisk. When they first got it, they didn't know what to do with it. They saw the beauty, they wanted to keep it all intact, so they created a brand new cut called the fantasy cut. Something for you to think about when you get dressed in the morning. Discover the value in your story.
All right, we're back. Thank you, Barbara. So we were talking about red barrels. So suppose, okay, you decide you see the inclusions. You see the inclusions, you find out whatever, they're passed. You find out that they got other things going on. And then you decide that's not what you want, but you still want red. You still want red. You want something red because red is your thing. Okay, cool. So then you say you want something harder. I want a harder gemstone. All right, cool. There you go. That's a red diamond. Those are red diamonds. Now, a red diamond has the hardness of a red diamond. Some of you don't understand, didn't know that diamonds come in every color of the rainbow. Every color rainbow. Red diamond is the most rare, one of the most rarest gemstones. I told you in an earlier show, you have a red diamond, call me. Call me. But along with, so you got the hardness of a 10, you got that. You got that hardness of a 10. You got all the things that a diamond can do. The slight the light performance, the scintillation, all these things that a diamond can do. Cool. But what you also have to factor in that a diamond, a red barrel is brittle, but so is a red diamond. And a red diamond is brittle in a different kind of way. A red diamond is brittle where it has what's called perfect cleavage. Perfect cleavage is when you hit a diamond, any diamond, but when you hit a diamond, it's going to literally break in half. It will break wherever the plane that you hit it in. And so it'll be a complete clean break. That's what you have to deal with if you have a red diamond. So they're hard, but not as tough. And then you have to really deal with the rarity of them. Red diamonds are extremely rare. Red diamonds take all the pressure. What a red diamond is not red like other gemstones. Other gemstones are red because they have something inside of that. That's what makes it red. No, a red diamond is extremely rare because what a red diamond does, what happens to a red diamond? The red diamond is so, it grew up in a place so deep in the earth that the pressure and the temperature exceeds anything that most diamonds can exceed, can deal with, to withstand. So a red diamond has changed on a molecular level. Like the carbon, we all know that diamonds are made out of carbon only. But what a red diamond is, red diamond doesn't have anything added. The red diamond is the red diamond. The red in the diamond is the red diamond. It's the carbon being misshapen to it's called plastic deformation. Sounds serious, right? The carbon itself is transforming, and that comes with a red color. So you have to deal with the rarity of that. That's one. Then you have to also ask yourself the question, and be honest with yourself. What is the chances that a red diamond, that you're going to be in possession of a red diamond? What's the chances of that? I mean, what's the chances of, I don't know, pick somebody in Hollywood, some absolutely gorgeous, Sophia Viagra is single, as far as last celebrity person I heard. She's not going to knock on my door. I can't do her voice, but that whole, what is she, Colombian or that whole, hi, Barry, I saw your show. I want to talk to you. Okay, it's not going to happen. So the question you have to ask yourself is, do you really think that you're going to meet a red diamond so easily just walking down the street? At the club or the what? Yo, what's your name? Red Diamond. All right, that's cool. Really? Really? Because the thing you have to understand about a red diamond, yes, they are extremely rare. That should be your first clue. Your second clue should be that not most, a lot of diamonds that are different colors, especially a diamond like that color, is treated. That's not what it looked like in the beginning. And if you have any level of social media, you know that there are women and men out there who can use makeup to completely transform who they are. Everything is a snap on, press on, glue on something. So that red diamond that you're looking at, that you've fallen in love with, may not be that at all. And if you were a gemologist, you would understand that. You would never have someone just come up tell you that they're a red diamond. You go, oh, okay, I accept that. But yet we do it all the time in relationships. We do it all the time in romance. Oh, man, she's so fine. And if you was a gemologist, that would be somebody telling me it's so red. And what else? Is it brittle? Does it have these qualities? I mean, what else? You know, what else do you have? But yet we do that in romance. That's why Valentine's Day has become so commercialized, because people don't really realize what they have. They think that, they buy that, they get into that. But deep down, that's who they are. And that's fine. If you have a red diamond and that person is a red diamond for you, cool. Just understand what it is. Understand who you have in your life. Understand that if you don't want to hit nobody, but if someone goes through a hard and difficult time, is that person going to be brittle? And if you do have a red diamond and that red diamond works for you, then you love it. You love that red. You value that red, that you have a red diamond in your life. Something that's truly rare. You know, all of us, Lord knows, how many of us watching right now have been, I don't even need to know how many people watching. There's a whole bunch of people that have been divorced. There's a whole bunch of people who have been in bad relationships. There's a whole bunch of people who have been in a bad relationship right now. And there's a relationship, divorce, relationships, you know, all kinds of things right here, right now. But if you don't fit that group and you have somebody in your life that really loves you, you would value them just like you would a red diamond. That person would be everything you needed in your life because they are your red diamond. That's a Valentine. The recognition that you have diamond, an emerald, ruby, a sapphire, something special in you. And when you understand that you have something special in life, then you should expect from your Valentine for them to understand that you are special. You are that emerald when they first looked at you. You are that red diamond. You are that sapphire. You are that ruby. You. See, because you can't have romance without value. Ladies, have you ever seen a man fall in love with a car, football, anything, and you know he got that new car and that was his dream car, a drop of water can't get on it without him trying to wash it, clean it, wax it. Why? Because he values it. Ladies, if you value that gemstone, you value that gemstone. because that gemstone has durability. It's desirable. That's the same man you married. Remember? Remember that man that you married? Yeah. There's been some years that have gone by. Diamonds, gemstones are millions of years old. You never throw that away. It might be dirty, dusty, whatever. You didn't clean it. You didn't throw it away. Why? Because you value it. And when you put it back on your neck, your arm, your fingers, you would remember what you loved about it in the first place, because it still has value. That's still your red diamond, despite. And because you understand, and if you don't, and when you really understand diamonds or gemstones, you'll understand that, yeah, diamonds come in the red variety. And maybe you thought you had the red, you wanted the red variety. Then you found out that you thought that diamonds just were one color. And then you found out that diamonds come in a whole variety of colors. So maybe you have a diamond in your life, they're just not red. They're orange, they're blue, they're pink, they're black, they're green, they're, yellow. That's what Valentine's Day is. So happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Let's go back to what Valentine's Day is. Go back to when you were a young boy, a young girl, or in college, and that person, that first person, your first Valentine's Day, your first box of candy. That box, that $1 box of Andy's candy that somebody bought you, and you just thought, oh wow. That trinket that you got at Coney Island or some amusement park or something, that person gave it to you. And you thought, wow, I'll keep this forever. That's Valentine's. And since it's Valentine's Day, February 14th, let's go to what the stone for this month is: amethyst. Amethyst. If you have amethyst in your life, you got to understand what it is. You have to understand. You want to see what amethyst is when it's no longer what you want to see what amethyst is without it. Or let me put it this way: what makes amethyst so special? Amethyst is made out of silicon dioxide. That's what amethyst is. Silicon with 2 oxygen. You want to see what silicon dioxide looks like? There you go. That's silicon dioxide. That's what it is. Sand. Oh, I know. It's Valentine's Day, so you want something a little bit more romantic. There you go. Silicon dioxide. Dive right on in. You got plenty of it. But that's not who's in your life. That's not the person that's in your life. That's not your ride and die. That's not the person that you had children with and took care of you when you were sick. That's your Valentine. That's your heart. That's your amethyst. That's what you love. Amethyst is the stone of love. Amethyst, I told you the story of amethyst. Dionysus cried. He cried, and because he was the god of wine, Diana changed her into a crystalline structure. And because Dionysus was the god of wine, his tears were purple. And he cried over the young maiden that he had killed, or he almost killed, wanted to kill. He made her into that, and her name was Amethystis. That's where amethyst comes from. That's where the story of amethyst comes from. That's what you have. And the thing that makes amethyst is iron. 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 You got all that silicon dioxide. All that silicon dioxide. Think about all the men that's out there in the world. Think about it. Think about all the women that's out there in the world. That's not what you have. That's not what you have. Yes, they are all us guys, we are silicon dioxide. That's what we are. That's not what you have. Your Valentine is an amethyst. He has iron in him, in his work, in the way he takes care of the children, the way he pays the bills, the way he takes care of you. That's iron. That's your Valentine. It was added. There was something added to him to make him special. And that's what you got. That's what you have. That's your family. That's your home that you've built together. That's your Valentine, your amethyst. So as you celebrate Valentine's Day, understand that what you have at home, you might have a red diamond or ruby or amethyst. Understand what you have. Understand the person that's in your life. Celebrate Valentine's Day in the same way you would rediscover a piece of jewelry that you have, or the jewelry that you have on. What makes it special? What gives it that power that every time you feel it, every time you wear it, you remember this was the day when this was the day when what changed in the way you felt about that person that's in your life, your heart. We forget that. And that's what, in the beginning, for me, started making me see the relationship between gemstones and people. Why is it that we can feel this way about a piece of jewelry, and yet we forget, or we somehow lose that ability when we deal with people? And I know gemstones, and there's no delusion that I have that gemstones are living. But the way we treat gemstones and the way the story of gemstones has lasted throughout from the beginning of time, there's got to be something special about it. And all I'm saying is the same things that you think is special in that gemstone is the same thing that's special about the person, that woman that you hold in your arms. That's what that whole death do us part kind of thing goes. When you think about it from a gemmological point of view, you're like, yeah, okay. But that's what the jeweler's basically saying to you when you bought that diamond, when you bought that ring, that till death, you're gonna have that ring forever. You're gonna pass that ring on. That's how much you love that ring. Why can't you love that person? Or be reminded of why you love that person? That's what Valentine's Day is. It has all the qualities of what a gemstone is. It's rare. That person in your life, if they're dealing with you and you know how special you are, some of you do, that's rare. Check. You know where that person came from, and yet from that place that person came from, they became something beautiful to you. That person has beauty. Remember the second element of what makes the attribute that makes a gemstone a gemstone. That gemstone has to have beauty. That person is beautiful to you. Or that person makes you feel beautiful. That person appreciates the beauty that you have. They like your stomach. They like the way your hands are. They enjoy the size of your ears, or the way your body looks. Shape of your big old head. Yeah. You're beautiful to someone, and Valentine's Day is that day that you remember that. Whether you go out to dinner or whether you're just sitting there with candlelight, you look at that person and remember when you looked at that candlelight long time ago when you couldn't afford anything else. What candlelight? This ring is $30 million. $30 million. Someone valued this ring so much to pay $30 million for this ring. Think about what they had to do to make that kind of money, and they value that ring that much to give it that. What did you go through with the person that you love this Valentine? What is that person worth to you? So rarity, beauty, durability. Valentine's Day is a day where you celebrate, man, we made it. Here's another February 14th. We made it through this. Not just on just our house of just we made it through this durability. You know, that person loved you when you were sick. That person loved you when you lost your job. That person loved you when times are hard. Durability. Gemstones that are too soft, like opal, you can't do everything with an opal. The way opal's a beautiful stone. That's my birthstone, but I can't wear an opal ring. I would love to, but it would have to be a completely different ring. It would have to be set in a setting that protected it because the opal is a soft stone. I can't wear opal or just leave it in the windowsill or wave it somewhere where it's hot because the opal will crack. It doesn't have durability. We all know relationships that started out wonderful. Valentine's Day at the most expensive restaurants and this, oh, he bought me this girl and all this other stuff. The question is, are y'all durable? And if you are, that's another thing to celebrate on Valentine's Day, durability. So rarity, beauty, durability. Yeah. That's a durable ring. Because a ruby, this is a ruby. A ruby is a 9. You got diamonds that are 10, and it's set in 18 karat gold. Yeah. Look at it. Look at that. Look at the prongs. That's to hold that in there. All that ring is secure. Durability. Is that what you have? Is that what you're celebrating today? And desirability. Desirability is, do you still want that person? Can you still remember when that person, yeah, okay. Things have changed. Gravity. But is that person still desirable to you? And if they are, let them know. Let them know. You still got the prettiest feet in the world. I still love your legs. I love the way you cook, whatever. What makes that person desirable? Let them know. Remind them. Remind them. Girl, if we had nothing left but peanut butter and jelly, I wouldn't mind having peanut butter and jelly with if I could eat peanut butter and jelly forever, as long as I'm with you. I mean, you said stuff like that and sounded corny then, but it wasn't, because that's how you love that person. Valentine's Day. Your heart was this big when you met that person a long, long time ago. So happy Valentine's Day. I hope this day is just make it wonderful. Thank you for allowing me to come in your home. Thank you for letting me just do this today. It was really special. Thank my executive producer for having her patience. And ladies, and if you don't have somebody in you, remind yourself of what makes you valuable. Remind yourself, I got a solution for that too. Gemstones are hard to find. Gemstones are hard to find. Gemstones take millions and billions of dollars to find. For every ounce of gold, just 1 ounce of gold, you got to go through something like 600 tons of rock. 600 tons of rock. Nobody goes through a couple of rocks and go, oh, you can't find any gold. Forget it. Just forget it. Not only is it hard to find a gemstone, for you to find a gemstone, maybe it's hard for them to find you, because at that point they're somewhere else. So it's not you, them. Maybe it's them. And when you find that love in your life, when you find that person who really appreciates you, that person, you'll know, because that person will treat you like a gemstone. That person will appreciate you and the love and just the beauty that you are, what makes you special. And that's what Valentine's Day should be, in my humble opinion. So, happy Valentine's Day. I love all of you who male and female, who have seen something special in me that made this Valentine's Day special for me. And my name is Barry B. Mixon. I am a Gemmological Storyteller. And let today and many days after this be your way, your day to remind yourself the value of your own story. So have fun, be safe, au revoir, à the teller, voila.